Okay, the last example has to do with correcting student errors and figuring out what they have done wrong, not what you think you should do in a problem. We did this in Unit 5, and I know it was one of the most difficult things that we did on the test, so we're going to try this again with Unit 6. So let's look at NOAA. All the students were given the problem 8 minus 3 times the quantity 4 minus 9x. Now, we're not going to worry about what we do. We're going to go through what they did and figure out, are they allowed to do this or would this be incorrect? So Noah says he worked the problem from left to right and he ended up with 20 minus 45x. So that was his answer. So if we look at the first step, that's fine because that was given. So let's figure out what changed in my second step. So this is what you need to start looking at is what changed, and that tells you what they did. So I noticed the 9x is the same and the 4 is the same. So he did 8 minus 3, which he said 8 minus 3 is 5. So now what we have to ask ourselves is, are we allowed to do 8 minus 3? What do you think? Okay, since order of operations, you guys have learned a couple of years ago, it's parentheses first, exponents, multiplication and division from left to right, and then addition and subtraction. So since we have parentheses, we were supposed to do the parentheses first. You are not actually allowed to do 8 minus 3 and get 5. It will not give you the correct answer. So he subtracted when he was not supposed to. He was supposed to multiply the negative 3 to get rid of those parentheses. So that would be how you would describe his error. So let's look at Lynn. So Lynn says she started with the same problem. That's fine. So I know the 8 is the same, the 3 is the same. And she said, oh, I know I'm supposed to do parentheses first. So I did 4 minus 9 is negative 5, right? Wrong. Remember, a number and a letter cannot really subtract from each other. So 4 minus 9x is not negative 5x. You're not allowed to do. So Lynn subtracted incorrectly. All right, let's look at Jada. So Jada started with the same problem. The 8 stays, and she kept the minus sign, which is fine, and she only took the 3 and multiplied it inside. So she got 3 times 4 is 12, and 3 times negative 9x is negative 27. Now, that might look incorrect because she didn't get rid of the parenthesis, but because she did keep the minus and the parenthesis, she is allowed to do that. So far, Jada is fine. So let's look and see what she did next. So on my next step, she kept the 8, and it looks like she's getting rid of her parentheses. So she took negative 1 times 12, which is negative 12, and then negative 1 times negative 27. So she didn't actually multiply them, but because she wrote them as she's going to multiply them, that would be okay too. And so on the last step, she kind of skipped a step, but 8 minus 12 is negative 4. Negative 1 times negative 27 is positive 27x. And she just reversed the order. She put the negative 4 at the end and the positive 27 in the beginning. Now, since both of the signs stayed the same with the right number, Jada did a great job. All of that is correct. You probably wouldn't have taken as many steps, but Jada did everything fine and she ended up with the correct answer. So let's look at Andre. So Andre kept the 8, and if we distribute that negative 3 times 4 is negative 12, and negative 3 times negative 9 is not negative 27. It should have been positive 27. So he did what a lot of students do, and he did not distribute a negative 3 to the negative second number. So he made a mistake.